Well, hey kids, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that you probably don't think too much about, but it's something that can be a big help if you're trying to get a really clean looking installation in whatever project you have. And this applies beyond automotive too, because lots of things use tubing, whether it's natural rubber, synthetic rubber, some blend, reinforced, you name it. It's hard to cut because it doesn't want to hold still when you're cutting it. And even if you take your time with the razor knife and go slow, it still ends up looking like somebody chewed through it. So there's a way to reduce that and get, a fairly clean edge off of whatever you have. And there's several little tricks that I picked up and basically combine them all. And we're going to check that out right now. So let's do it. Okay, there's a lot of things that go into this. I think we'll show you how to combine them all. I mean, first of all, is what I've been doing for a long, long time is to take a hose clamp or something that fits around the hose you're cutting, and basically uh, trace the cut you want to make. It's up to you to get it squared up to where it's going to make an axial cut. By that I mean, you could easily put this on at some angle and mark a line that isn't going to be a straight cut, which is probably what you want. The next is, if you got something to fit inside there to support it, that helps out a lot. We'll talk about why in a minute here, but uh, I didn't used to do that, but it is a big point. The other thing is to get a really sharp knife. I mean, you can use whatever you want. Don't matter. Carpet knife like these, or what I think they call these snap knives or something like that. But I mean, I call them Olfa knives because I think these people invented them. It's it's basically a knife that snap off a new edge and you get a new blade. Don't go crazy. A lot of people get frustrated with these because they stick them way out here and they're like, "Why did it break right there?" Well, because it's supposed to. If you see those lines, that's how it works. I mean, it's only supposed to cut past the edge of that. So that's more than enough to cut a piece of tubing. Um, you can see I got hose clamp here, whatever. Some of these things, there's these big cutters here. They're supposed to cut tubing pretty square. They kind of do, but what ends up happening is the whole issue of what you're dealing with, and that is the fact that this stuff is compressible. And what I mean is when you try to push on it to cut it, it's like a spring and it wants to move away from where you're cutting. So when you try to cut it, it pushes away and you're pushing back and forth, or at least pushing in one direction, and it doesn't want to cut, and you end up with something like that. That's not what we usually want in this world, or you wouldn't be watching this video. Um, there's a big help in that case, and that's to put a lubricant on here. This is just regular old blue goo dish soap. Whatever, Dawn, or the generic equivalent. Why would you use that instead of some other kind of lubricant? I'll tell you, you do not ever want to put any kind of petroleum product on rubber. Why am I saying that? Well, I'm an engineer for Firestone, and I can tell you that that's one of the surefire ways to destroy a rubber product is to put petroleum onto rubber. It breaks it down. Uh, it may work one time, and it probably works really good when you're cutting it, but you're shortening the life of it. So keep it away from rubber. Um, here's the lightsaber right here, the electric carving knife, and we're going to show you why in just a second. The magic of this thing is that it's got two blades side by side and they go in different directions. Maybe hard to see here, but they go back and forth. Now, why is that important? Because in the kitchen, where this thing gets normally used, you're cutting up a piece of chicken or pork or whatever the heck it may be, and that stuff is compressible, and it's just like the rubber hose or the neoprene hose or whatever the heck you got. When you're trying to cut on it, it pushes away from the knife, and you get a ragged cut. Just like if you're cutting up a chicken breast or, a victim of your latest felony, it doesn't want to cut smooth because it's moving back and forth. So one blade kind of holds it steady and the other one cuts it back and forth. These things, I bought this for like $10 at a thrift store. People don't really use them, past the wedding gift stage or whatever you're doing, unless you're serious about the culinary arts. You can pick them up for cheap. Like I said, I didn't spend a lot of money for this. I got an original box, and it works like a top. Now, this isn't my original idea, but combining all this stuff is something that I haven't seen. I've seen using the dish soap. I've seen using the electric knife, but not using the hose clamp or something circular to mark the template. Put them all together and you get a pretty good cut, as you saw there. Now, does it really matter if you're cutting it up to just get something to work? Of course not. But we here at Smith Motor Works dare to be different, and we want to get it as best as we can do. We want to look good doing it, and this is how you can do it for not a lot of money. So there you go. It's pretty easy to do, and if you combine all those tricks together, or even a couple of them, you can get a better cut with your hose, whether it's for a fuel filler neck or for a radiator hose or just fuel line, whatever. You can get it cut pretty straight, and you don't have to have a whole lot of skill to do it or spend a whole lot of time. It may be a little bit slower in the long run, but as Mario Andretti, I believe, said, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Well, hey, all right. I hope you got some use out of that. I think anything you can learn is a good thing. Even if you knew some of it, you may not have known all of it. So definitely do your homework. Like, subscribe, share. Definitely let me know what you think about it. If you got your own tips, I'd appreciate to hear those too. We'll definitely reply to the comments and try to share the knowledge as we can, because we all want to dare to be different. That's the credo of Smith Motor Works, as you all know. I certainly appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time on Smith Motor Works. Bye-bye now.